elegance, grace, mystery. Water. Women have an undeniable power that stems from their beauty. This beauty starts with the skin, but the actual power comes from within. We'll explore women's lives in the Arabic world. Travel with us to the gold city of Riyadh, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for the first Arab Fashion Week in the country's history. Then go behind the scenes of Dubai's Arab Fashion Week in the United Arab Emirates to discuss women's empowerment. This film will lift women to discover their own beautiful strength, to spread their wings and fly.
Hello, good evening everybody. Ni hao ma. I'm Annina Alexis here in Dubai for Fashion China at a stunning venue, City Walk. To be here is extremely wonderful. Don't you know beauty contributes to one's potential? As in the Chris Brown song, Beautiful People. Is it really that simple?
Is more than skin.
When I see something beautiful, someone beautiful, I just stop, I look at this beautiful thing and I say, wow, this is a beautiful world.
Every woman has her own beauty, her personality, her character, her beliefs, her memories, and her journey in life.
That actually kind of beauty is about just kind of a slight mindset, the way that you feel. You know, if you're feeling good internally, probably also means like simple things. You're probably also eating better, you're probably sleeping better, you probably are, without knowing it, taking better care of yourself.
Many people there are beautiful from outside, but when you go deep inside, they are not beautiful. So it's not about matter how beautiful you look, it's matter how beautiful your soul is.
I've met some incredibly beautiful women, but if you actually analyse their faces, they might not be the most symmetrical, beautiful creatures in the world, but they know their power, they know what they bring, and they're compelling, and they're magnetic, and that's why I think women can be so amazing.
Whether a woman knows they are beautiful or not, like in One Direction song, or whether a woman knows what they bring, every woman has a significant role contributing to the beauty of the world through their symmetrical beauty, personality, charisma, magnetism, and their virtues.
Fashion Week took place this week in Dubai's City Walk, bringing with it some of the best regional and international emerging talent.
The idea is to expose the local
designer to global markets.
Fashion empowers people because it's a way for them to really emotionally connect to themselves. It's the form of creativity, it's the form of individualism.
Fashion absolutely empowers women. I get really quite excited about it. It's just that complete possibility of throwing open your wardrobe in the moment and say, well, I'm feeling a 4. I know today I want to feel a 7 would be good, an 8 would be a bonus. These clothes can help me do it. And it sounds really superficial, but it's not. It's about that act of actually showing the world who you are and actually projecting a sense of who you feel or who you want to feel. And the clothes help you get there.
Fashion is about beauty, is about confidence, strength. So every woman wants to be beautiful. Every woman wants to be confident and powerful. So fashion brings that inner beauty outside and makes the woman feels that beautiful mixture of beauty, power, and confidence.
I love clothes. I love the way that clothes can reflect how you're feeling and actually make yourself feel better about how you're feeling. So I love the act of dressing and being able to shop.
Fashion, let's say that fashion reflects the mood of a woman and her ability to make choices. So when she feels that she wants to stand out and to wear something glamorous, she has the chance to do that by putting on certain outfit, and it makes her feel really glamorous, beautiful, shining. Sometimes she wants just to be relaxed and simple, natural, and by choosing a certain outfit, she gets that mood and she feels comfortably in her skin.
As a woman, I kind of pity the guys because I'm like, we just get like really basic options, only we can wear whatever we want. I love it, but I kind of fashion, I think, is I don't necessarily buy into the fact that, or I don't have enough money to buy into the fact that every single season you need to shift and follow the trends. I think that's a bit difficult because we have normal lives, and I know that my job, I have to, from Sunday to Thursday, I have to look a certain way, and that helps me kind of do my job better. But it's not really, I can't go into the shops and buy all the tons of fashion that I would like to buy because A, it's going to be outdated, and B, it's not relevant for who I have to be every day. So that's why I think fashion is a bit more fun, keep fashion fun, but the act of dressing well and that reflecting is, I love it, absolutely love it.
I'm here with Amy. Hi, Amy. Can you say something about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Amy. I'm from the UK. I've been in Dubai for nearly 7 years now and loving life here at the Arab Fashion Show.
Do you see any difference between Britain and Middle East beauty?
Yes, I see a big difference, to be honest with you. Here in the Middle East, they're the concept is completely different. In the UK, we don't explore too much with it. Over here, everything is we explore every avenue really, and everybody's game's different, and people like to try new looks, and it seems to change quite rapidly.
Also loving Blessed's super chic street style collection, which had an on-trend mashup of sequins, slogans, neons and leather. WTC Couture's whimsical collection that looked like it could be straight out of a fairy tale. Humarif's pre-fall line that is just begging to be worn on the red carpet, and Michael Cinco's glamorous collection closed the week-long festivities with Miss Universe contestant Marta Magdalena Stepien. And that's not all the pageant queen has been up to in Dubai. The Miss Universe Canada winner stopped over in Dubai on her way to Bangkok, where she will compete for the title of Miss Universe. Marta came to pick up the dress she'll be wearing on stage at the competition. The biomedical engineer and model visited the Michael Cinco atelier in D3 for a fitting for the couture dress that she will take with her to Thailand for the Miss Universe competition. The designer and beauty queen both shared photos and videos on social media of Marta's trip. They are yet to reveal which dress she chose.
Miss Canada, I'm making her evening gown she's competing for Miss Universe next month in Bangkok, and I'm making her evening gown. So I asked her to walk for my show. No, you know, being a designer, you need a platform to showcase your inspiration, your collection. So you need to be in a fashion show. And Arab Fashion Week is one of the greatest platforms in the Middle East because they shows different designers, different nationalities, which is very important nowadays. Yeah.
Michael Cinco told me that one of his lifelong dreams was to showcase a collection in Paris. In 2016, he achieved his dream, debuting his autumn-winter collection at the Paris Haute Couture Fashion Week.
Tous les ans, et pourtant, elle est là.
Michael is a favorite designer of Bollywood star Aishwarya Rai, where she wore the beautiful gowns at the Cannes Film Festival in 2018.
Je suis en train de refaire un petit peu la liste dans ma tête. Le film polonais, Cold War, Paweł Pawlikowski.
Here we see Michael tending the 20-foot train that mimics a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis.
C'est terrible quand on se lance dans ce genre de liste parce qu'on sait évidemment qu'on va oublier quelqu'un.
Et puis Balinos, on l'a déjà dit en ouverture.
The designer did not skimp on the details for this dress. It's completely covered in Swarovski crystals and French palettes. It consists of ultraviolet, midnight blue, and red thread works.
Et donc 21 films en compétition, 3 femmes réalisatrices.
The elaborate creation took 3,000 hours to make, Cinco reveals. That converts to 125 days if one dressmaker worked non-stop. Also, Jennifer Lopez wore a crystallized couture dress with a hand-painted cape inspired by the stained glass windows of the Stained Chapel in Paris, also created by Michael Cinco. She appeared on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
I just want to be remembered like when I see a woman on the street and then somebody screams like, "I love your outfit." That's very Michael Cinco. I think that's the greatest achievement of a designer.
Can you tell us your muse, your idol?
My muse is Megan. Okay. She's a Hollywood actress, and Miss Canada, Martha, and this Paul, Nemanja, and Maruf.
Wonderful. Guys, say hello.
Hello, it's such an honor.
How do you feel in this dress?
The first time I saw his dress, I said it's my biggest dream to walk in his dresses. It's like, it's a work of art. It's a masterpiece.
I think that's the most important when you have a good relationship with your team and with the models. I think they show that they are very excited to wear the clothes, and it shows on the runway. Yeah. The models look very happy. I think it's very important for a designer to connect to see the final product that, you know, he created for many number of hours. And when you see that in a model at the backstage, you get a strong satisfaction and strong feeling that you're happy with the final product of the dress. And to see those collections on the runway worn by these amazing models, I think it's one of the best things and the best feeling. This time, my collection is inspired from the beautiful culture of Persia. So I'm looking for strong men who have a strong character, and of course they look very Persian, and women who are very fierce, they're very strong, they have passion. Yeah, I think it's very important for a designer to have a personal touch with your creations. And with me at the backstage, I'm very particular with the fitting of the models, how they look like, if they're perfect, if they're fully accessorized, and the makeup is perfect, and the hair. It's very important, yeah. The favorite design that I've ever made, the design that I made for my mother, because she cried, and for me that's one of the best things, because that's the first design I created when I was young, yeah. And it's very sentimental for me. I'm glad you like the collection, and it's an honor for me to be part of Arab Fashion Week.
Indirectly, I mean, I think that it's always a question of how many people are being employed and what manufacturing activity can be generated locally. And I think fashion has tended to be rather artisanal type of activity.
Establishment and the creation of fashion events in this part of the world aligned to Paris Fashion Week and Milan Fashion Week.
The mass production has usually been done in Asia or somewhere that is not contributing to the European economy if we're talking about Paris.
Can you tell us what is the objective of the 5th season of Arab Fashion Week?
The objective is really to foster the retail space in the GCC, to highlight Arab designers and their talent more and more, and also to bridge fashion between the GCC and also China. So we are hoping to get more and more designers from across the globe, but especially also Chinese designers.
We've seen recently some initiatives and collaboration between public and private sector. Public sector, we're talking about Dubai Design Council, and the private sector like Miras collaborating with Arab Fashion Week. And that's something can contribute to the GDP of the country and promote the fashion industry within the region.
That there is a great creativity in this part of the world. There's really incredible talent here. People waiting to really express themselves. We have really tried to enable this talent to come out and show the world.
I think you have to say there that a lot of people don't realize that Arabic has many local dialects. And the Arabic of Riyadh and Jeddah and even between Bahrain and UAE is quite significantly different.
We were very, very interested in the opportunity of bringing a fashion week in Riyadh because we just knew that would really be a historical, really historical event, and a great opportunity for the world, also to see the, the growing talent that is, really fostering in Saudi Arabia. The Arab Fashion Week in Riyadh took place in April 2018.
I attended the Saudi Fashion Week, the very first Saudi Fashion Week in the Saudi capital, Riyadh.
I went to Riyadh. We were staying at the Ritz-Carlton, and it was history. It was history in the making, and being part of that was absolutely extraordinary. It was immense pride for all of us involved.
Well, I was very excited because it first of all seemed totally unexpected. And then when you thought it through, it was an amazing initiative at just the right time. And of course created a lot of publicity. I think a lot of Saudis were absolutely delighted to have this event in Riyadh. And I think the feedback was very positive.
I think it's now time for them, to be free and to express their feelings in fashion. It's very fashion forward.
You are in a country where women have to put on abayas, where many things are prohibited. So, of course, when you go and attend a fashion show with models walking on the runway at the heart of the Saudi capital, it's something historic.
International exposure with international designers, so it's international fashion, you know, it's not something local. And when I got the call to organize the models for Riyadh Fashion Week, I was like, Riyadh Fashion Week? Really? And at the beginning, you know, I didn't get the right response because, believe me, they were afraid of going to Saudi and participate to a fashion week. Yeah, because they were, are you serious? And I say, yes, I am, you know, I'm a modeling agency, so everyone knows I'm working with the models, real models and the real fashion weeks. But the request sounds very strange. I was there with 20 models, so they were confused. They never see so many girls at the same time, you know, beautiful, like asking visa to go to Saudi Arabia. So also for them, was a news. So, like, I give you an example. I had to talk with some parents because they were very afraid of their daughters. Yeah, because, you know, models are, many are very young, so yeah, they don't travel a lot, and mainly they travel in Europe or to other countries, like more fashion destination. So asking them to come to travel, trusting me, and go to Riyadh for a fashion week was very strange. But I feel this mission to promote Riyadh and Saudi. The models will definitely be very happy to come back to Riyadh to do the second edition of the fashion week, for sure.
We all know that Saudi Arabia is not an open country, and there are so many things that were not allowed in the past.
So we wanted at the end the same things, and it was very, very beautiful also to see that they were happy to have international faces, not only Arabic faces, you know, in their country.
Riyadh Fashion Week, or the Arab Fashion Week in the Saudi capital, was different from any other fashion weeks. Like if you go to London Fashion Week or New York Fashion Week, there is a certain scenario, let's say, that you expect to see. And in Saudi Arabia it was a bit different because, of course, because of the country was still closed, they are on the right path to modernize the country, but still there are certain restrictions. So there were no men attending the fashion shows. We were not allowed to take photos or videos for some security reasons. So yeah, it felt a little bit different, but it was amazing at the same time.
Today we are living the history, especially as the first fashion week.
The first impression is really beautiful because it's a lot of warmth and everybody's so welcoming and kind.
These are some sights in Riyadh that I enjoy. I'm in the sky bridge of the Kingdom Tower wearing the abaya that I was provided.
Our accommodations at the hotel included flowers, chocolate, and fashion. This hotel is not a hotel, it's the huge, like a castle, like a palace. Beautiful with a long valley of the trees, and you could see on the side the big flags, and I mean, it was unbelievable. The fountains, flowers, lots of green. Then porter escorting us from car to the lobby. I mean, everything. Going to the room, a beautiful room with fruits in the room. I mean, everything was incredible. I was surprised by how welcoming the people were to me. Even though I stood out from their culture with my blonde hair, the stories that were told about this closed country mysteriously perplexed me. Saudi parents asked if their young girls could have pictures with me, telling me that my efforts to go there were appreciated. On our excursion, we were experiencing seldom seen spectacles. Good morning. So that's my first breakfast. As you can see, it's very small.
here at the first day of fashion shows.
I came as a TV host. I was interviewing Najat Sadeh for Fashion China television. He's a designer distinguished by his classical style with a modern inspiration to portray the natural endowed beauty of a woman. When we entered the fashion shows, we were wearing abayas. Once inside, we were allowed to put the abayas away, since it was all women. And then when it was revealed, everyone was wearing brands, designer clothes, shoes, jewelry and bags. Although social media was not allowed inside the actual runway portion of the fashion show, there was media coverage before the event and behind the scenes that went viral, becoming a worldwide sensation.
I mean, it's a funny thing, all the Saudi girls I meet, I love. They're just incredibly open-minded, strong, graceful women. And I'm not trying to stereotype, I'm just talking to the people that I've met.
As I prepare to leave, I reflect on the country's first ever fashion week, where nations came together in such a cultural step forward that the change could be felt in the air. May this event serve as a catalyst for future opportunities for Riyadh and all of the Middle East. I just had to kick up my heels.
We love Arab Fashion Week Riyadh.
You know, since I lived in Saudi, in Riyadh, clearly I noticed there were a lot of changes. I mean, clearly when I landed and then we took the car and drove around to the hotel, it's extraordinary, you know, all the construction, you know, the way that the city has developed. But it really kind of brought back some very, you know, strong memories. I mean, it was fantastic to be there. And, you know, because also, I mean, Saudi Arabia is slowly opening up and is giving the opportunity to foreigners to actually to visit and to learn about its history and about his heritage as well.
Part of the opening up process is the fact that entertainment centres are planned and cinemas are going to be opened, and there's even talk of an opera house in Riyadh.
Taking steps towards increasing women's emancipation. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has lifted the ban on women driving, brought cinema to the kingdom for the first time, and allowed women to attend mixed public sporting events.
Of course, you have the conservatives part of the society, which I think this is everywhere in the world. You find any changes, they're against those changes, you know. I've seen the movie Chocolate, that Johnny Depp.
That's fantastic.
Oh, thanks. I have a knack for guessing.
It's cool. Not my favorite.
Talks about the changes, and that change was, you're talking about chocolate actually. A lady came to that town.
A sly wind blew in from the north.
Introduced chocolate, and they never had chocolate at that time. And that's supposed to be something sins and prohibited at that time, you know. So we have actually here, we have that, but the trend moving more toward more people embrace those changes. And we're talking about changes within the culture, you know, making, let's say, the hijab or the abaya more modern. Nothing wrong with that.
Sheikh Abdullah Al-Mutlaq, a member of the Council of Senior Scholars, said that women should dress modestly, but it could be achieved without wearing the full body covering. In recent years, some Saudi women have taken to wearing colourful abayas as opposed to the standard black garment. Although the Sheikh's statement does not necessarily signal a change in Saudi law, it is significant because it was the first of its kind from a senior religious figure.
Abayas are beautiful, and now abayas are not only black. There are so many designers, new designers. They have amazing designs for abayas. They're colorful, with beautiful details. So now the abaya is not just a black piece of cloth, but there's much more about abaya. And definitely the abaya nowadays reflects the personality and the character of the woman who wears it.
The design shifted, the spending and design also shifted from traditional to more practical and modern design for Arab and Muslim fashions.
This is I would say that it's a golden age, in many respects for many countries in the Middle East.
The fashion industry worth $3 trillion worldwide, and if you're talking about market segment, the Muslims, it's spending every year around $484 billion. That's 14 to 15% of the spending worldwide.
Saudi is at a fairly well-publicized tipping point a little bit.
There is a very big drive towards diversification from oil-based economies. So fashion, the creative sector, is really a way to diversify.
So to capture that market, I think to help youngsters actually to create jobs within fashion industry, to have a design actually to compete with international brands, to help those designers to create their own business, to contribute to capture that market share.
You can see that fashion will create extra employment?
So part of the vision 2030 for Saudi and UAE is to create jobs and also to capture new markets.
And I think within that framework of both opening up and inward investment, fashion becomes quite an interesting component.
For example, within my family, I have my sisters who's designing dresses and selling direct to consumer through Instagram. The young population and high connectivity rates and the ambitions of young people here, this is going to contribute to the fashion industry, which is in turn going to contribute to the GDP of the countries like Saudi and UAE.
Revamped designs are encouraging expats to adopt the Emirati women's attire.
And we can see collaboration between big brand names with local designer for abaya.
Hassa Al-Falasi's designs are now primed to go beyond UAE borders. As expats go back home, they're likely to bring her colorful abayas back with them.
Bye-bye. Well, in Dubai itself, fashion has been one of the activities that have been very much encouraged by the government, and you can see the success of this in the various events like the one we have this evening.
Feeling of happiness and something that I didn't expect. Let me say at all, not at all, but I didn't expect in a very foreseeable future. So that was the feeling. So I was like, really, is that happening now? I always had a belief that it's going to happen.
In a sense, they have the benefit from not having all of this kind of complicated conversations around kind of male and female, because it's been quite clear cut. It's been, this is the guy, this is what the woman does.
Good fashion is a key part.
Now the moment that those boundaries are opening, it's almost kind of like a clean slate for them in a sense.
I think that Lubna Olayan is obviously a very well-known figure in Saudi business circles, and is the first one that perhaps comes to mind when you're talking about Saudi business ladies.
And we have to get the CEO of the major Arab companies to be convinced of this idea and try to hire women, promote women, mentor women during that, because that is what we need. Until our education gets right, until we have the right qualification, we have to take whatever population of women and get them trained, but it can only happen is when there is focus in terms of CEOs and board and chairmanship.
Vivian's law is the first to require corporations to hire women equally for all senior positions.
And so I proposed to bring together two things in our European law. Not to have a rigid quota. You must have so much women on board. If you are a woman, you are on board. No. If you are talent, you are on board.
Saudi actor Fatima Al-Banawi struggles against this worldwide normal in show business.
One of the challenges that had, been sticking around lately is the role of the female character in films. Whether written by males or females, there is a depiction of a female role that is somewhat secondary. It's great being part of this pioneering industry because we have so many stories to tell.
And that is why I wrote in the law that at equal talent, at equal competence, if there is a man and a woman to choose from, as long as you do not have 40% on board, you choose a woman then to give the position to. It is about quality, it is about not losing out our talent, and I think the best are good enough in order to lead our companies, and women are part of the best.
Vivian's law is such a hot topic internationally that panels, including the World Economic Forum, have discussed the need for laws because CEOs are not making gender equality changes voluntarily.
We need the sponsorship from the top, and we need CEOs to believe in it. We need to change some mindset because a lot of them play lip service. Yes, it's good, it's the right thing that we all talk about it, but do they really believe in it? Are they truly committed?
Women have an innate desire to be truly valued for their authenticity, not judged or objectified, but seen for all of our uniquely beautiful qualities, our personality, beliefs, magnetism and virtues, resting secure in knowing we are completely accepted.
There needs to be a resurgence in our culture that values humanity, that values a man, that values a woman for their entirety of mind, body, and soul. That process starts with me, and it starts with you.
And if you kind of come here, what they're going through is similar, but in a sense less complicated and a little bit more straightforward and empowering and positive, I would say. So you've got this kind of very complicated story from the West, which is, okay, fine, we've had women who've got to a certain level of position, they are CEOs of banks, they are, movie stars, they are entrepreneurs, they're doing what they need to do, but now we're slightly kind of calling out the men retrospectively. We're saying, actually, no, there was a time in my career when I felt I had to compromise myself to get to this position. And then you have this amazing shift in the Arab world, in my experience, where women are just understanding that they can do that for the first time.
I've always loved cars since I was young. I remember very well playing with my brother's car toys instead of my dolls. Today we're going to a dream racetrack. I'm going to drive an F-Type. I had the privilege to drive in many other racetracks around the world, but today is going to be a very special day because it's going to be my first time ever driving in my beloved country.
They're saying, okay, wow, there's a woman on the board of a Saudi bank.
60% of graduates in Saudi Arabian universities are in fact ladies. And there's always been quite a lot of ladies working at more junior management positions for some time. Businesses with ladies or led by ladies. And a lot of work is being done to encourage greater participation at senior levels.
I can do that. And in a sense, it's really nice to kind of see that because it's less complicated, because there's no finger pointing, there's no kind of negativity associated with that. It's just like, hey girls, we can drive, we can go to the cinema, we can do this too.
One of the films that speaks to women's equality is Wonder Woman, directed by Patty Jenkins. She takes the time to present fashion as a tactical strength builder for women.
Fight? We use our principles. I mean, that's how we're going to get the vote. Although I am not opposed to engaging in a bit of fisticuffs should the occasion arise. Lovely.
Miss Candy, the whole point was to make her look less distracting. Yeah.
Yeah, really, Specs? Suddenly she's not the most beautiful woman you've ever seen.
Wonder Woman has been described as a 2-hour empowerment of women.
And that's kind of quite joyful in a sense, I would say. Whereas in the West, where I come from, it's just a bit more complicated and a bit like tired and angry. And there's more kind of calling out the men, there's more blame, there's much more, yeah, it's just this kind of messy complication, and you don't really know if it's actually advancing the women or if all it's actually doing is making the women say, actually, we're kind of angry with the guys right now, but actually we're getting better at what we're doing. Should we just like say, hey guys, we love each other, let's just move on. So yeah, interesting times.
Messy blame doesn't advance women or society. Blame is usually an effort to shift focus away from our own responsibility.
But I have found what did upset me was when, you know, I found that being strong, it seemed to me at some point in time that you just cannot get by without being labelled difficult, tough, aggressive, a bitch, I hate that word, bossy. And it is like, guys, I'm not. You know, I'm just trying to do my job effectively. And it is just because it's not coming from that kind of typical guy in a shirt.
It's time we all examine our preconceived ideas, the labels, the stereotypes, and learn who we really are.
A woman just hasn't, they don't have words to describe a woman who's choosing to speak her mind. There aren't really that word, so they just...
If we show emotion, we're called dramatic. If we want to play against men, we're nuts. And if we dream of equal opportunity, delusional. When we stand for something, we're unhinged.
It's super, it's gonna need to calm down.
When we're too good, there's something wrong with us. And if we get angry, we're hysterical or rational or just being crazy.
So that kind of upsets me because I hate being called aggressive. Because I'm not. I mean, maybe that's the thing. Maybe we are just too focused on, you know, it's great that Hollywood is, for example, coming back to the West, it's great that Hollywood has kind of, the actresses have used their voice and their power, but it is probably a little bit more, we can't just focus on kind of the workplace. If we do really want to make a shift, we probably do need to look at the kind of conversations that happen in schools or at homes about, you know, how the kids are kind of brought up, you know, and it's perfectly fine to want to put tires on a car, that's a perfectly valid career choice.
This sport will break you if you let it. I've noticed some faces, like they're surprised to see me. Historically, NASCAR is Caucasian males. That's what people think of, and that's what they see in the sport. Nobody at the track looks like me.
So as well, you know, it's kind of, all this labeling sometimes is like, it was confusing for everyone. You know? Complex than a kind of hashtag and a movement and people wearing black to the Golden Globes. You know, I think it's because it's whole layering of society, and that's where I just get a bit overwhelmed, because it's just like, well, there's so much to, where do you start?
Pass the microphone, let me speak up and vent. The Middle East girls came down to represent. So yalla, 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 let's put an end to all the stereotypes, inshallah. And yes, we like flowers, but when it's bust on, you gon' see our real powers. Treat the woman like a queen, from every single race and every single deen. We got love in our hearts, family got our back, spread rumors about us
In stereotype world, Arabic women think about having their voices heard, gaining respect, and ending stereotypes.
I lived in Saudi Arabia, and I have so many Saudi women friends, and I could always see the determination in their eyes, the confidence. They are amazing. They are modern. They are open-minded. They're creative. They're strong women with substance.
The women of Saudi Arabia are not the only determined ones. As you look around the world, you see examples of strong women.
Les femmes ont le pouvoir, which means women have the power.
Women who are not afraid to stand up and be counted in a man's world.
They ran and won in unprecedented numbers, adding over 30 seats in the House.
But Tuesday marked a turning point as the congressional representation of women got a little closer to matching the percentage of women in America.
She's a pro-European liberal. Zuzana Kapitova's election goes against a tide of populist nationalist politicians on the rise across much of Europe. The lawyer first came to prominence when she successfully led a case against an illegal landfill site, which lasted over 14 years, leading to her nickname as Slovakia's Erin Brockovich.
The character Erin Brockovich, depicted on the film by Julia Roberts, has inspired people all over the world, especially women.
These people don't dream about being rich. They dream about being able to watch their kids swim in a pool without worrying that they'll have to have a hysterectomy at the age of 20, like Rosa Diaz, a client of ours, or have their spine deteriorate like Stan Bloom, another client of ours. So before you come back here with another lame-ass offer, I want you to think real hard about what your spine is worth, Mr. Walker, or what you might expect someone to pay you for your uterus, Miss Sanchez. Then you take out your calculator and you multiply that number by 100. Anything less than that is a waste of our time.
Slovak's Marilyn Monroe meets Slovak's Erin Brockovich on International Women's Day. And Marilyn Monroe continues to inspire, though she's been gone almost 60 years. Both people not only made their mark, but they inspire those who follow them. A leader will motivate change when they make choices based on principles. Gavin Newsom, while the mayor of San Francisco, inspired change as an adaptive leader, hiring the two best qualified candidates despite gender.
One of the first things I did when I became mayor of San Francisco is I appointed a female police chief and then a female fire chief. When they both show up at the podium in a disaster, a lot of national media will look there and say, well, where's the police chief? She's right here. Where's the fire chief then? Well, she's right here. People thought I was trying to make some grand statement, when in fact I was actually just hiring the most qualified two candidates.
If you are intelligent enough to adapt to change and brave enough to act on principle, even when it's not popular.
Now, fast forward to the women's movement.
Even though 10 years has passed since the making of the documentary Misrepresentation, there are those today who would reverse the progress women have made towards equality.
Within less than a decade, women gained tremendous power.
Every day, someone chooses to take humanity forward or backwards. Will we adapt to change, or will we stick to our old ways of playing it safe with ignorant stereotypes? Smart women know they can have it all, even a seat at the table.
I do care a lot about gender diversity. I do care a lot about inclusiveness. And I care about it because it's important for humanity. I care about it because it's important for economics. And I hope that I've convinced a number of people because that it makes economic sense to improve the situation of women, to make sure that they have access to education, that they have access to health, that they have access to jobs, that they have access to financing, and that they can sit at the table with the same and the equal rights and opportunities.
And I'm in female networks, business networks that support women in business. And sometimes I'm like, they're great and they're important, but just a business group is helpful as well. We don't necessarily have to have the women's group. You know, I don't necessarily consider myself a female businesswoman. I'm just an entrepreneur who set up a business.
You too can move society forward. As an indicator, media reflects the direction society is headed.
We've got to hold the media to task on this too. Absolutely. Because I think that these stereotypes are perpetuated so powerfully in the way women's actions are covered in the press.
Generation after generation, we pass on our inherited and cultivated tendencies.
The media is the message and the messenger, and increasingly a powerful one.
People learn more from media than any other single source of information. So if we want to understand what's going on in our society in the 21st century, we have to understand media.
Media is just a tool or an instrument, and with the addition of the social media craze, we must be increasingly aware of how much a person's character matters.
I certainly have role models, but the next step is being a role model.
And so the women that inspire me are probably more the business entrepreneurs. So the girls who kind of have their name above the door, purely because what I do, I've kind of put my name above the door, and I understand that. I understand how difficult that can be sometimes.
When Rachel Maddow put her name above the door, she had the benefit of powerful role models, and then an expectation that she'd be a leader, and leaders mentor others.
One of the things that really surprised me was the number of women in positions of power in television who reached out to me and said, can I take you out to breakfast? Can I take you out to lunch? Can I make sure that you have my phone number or my email address so that if anything comes up? And it definitely wasn't like the gender mafia going on in the media, but there was an overt effort to both welcome me and make me know that women who had gone before me, who had fought to get where they were both happy that I was there and wanted to be resources to me. And there's an expectation that I will be a resource to other women.
Sisters take humanity forward when they come together for a common cause.
We were sisters, yes. Sisterhood is powerful. But the sisters came from very different families.
Because this industry is not always so easy, especially for young models, and I am here to help them, to support them as like a big sister.
Fashion, it's a job. Working in fashion, it's something serious. It's a job like you're working in other industry. Doesn't mean that if you work with your body means that it's something not serious. Accept yourself, even if you. Doesn't mean that if you are not skinny, you're not good. You know. But there are some girls that they don't accept. I think that they need to work on themselves and understand that life is beautiful, and it's just not because they cannot do catwalk for Victoria's Secret, they're not beautiful women.
Beauty may be appreciated, but living off of one's attractiveness can give a person a false sense of security, lets others decide their value, and forfeits their independence.
Beauty, and you learn this also as you get older in life as well. You can't cling on to the beauty that you had or expected to have when you were 18, 19, 20 years old. It's going to go.
Be confident and go 100% every time. Focus to that goal, stick to it, look at it every day, say, I'm going to do it, I'm going to go for it, and you're going to have it.
But it's going to change and it's going to get better. And I think that the exciting thing about beauty is understanding that it is much more about skin. And yes, you can look after your skin, you can kind of learn the tricks and the tips and all the whatever you want, but actually it's really nice and reassuring, I think, to understand the older you get, your energy that you project, the kind of attitude that you give, it is all about kind of vibrations and energy and who you want to be in that day, and, not kind of straying too much into the hippie, but if you understand that, it's really fun because you're like, hey, I'm not going to lose my beauty. I actually have the power to intensify my beauty, and actually I think the more you understand your personality and the more you're kind of slightly true to that and you're just your person and you're not worrying about what everyone else thinks, I genuinely believe the more beautiful a woman is. It's such a better place for me, having that kind of mad mix of these different personalities, men, women, whatever, identifying left, right, center, whatever it is, it's fun. And it's just about talent.
This myth that women don't need any talent strikes at the heart of women being dependent on others. Equality and security are achieved when people can provide a needed product or service regardless of gender. For the remainder of this journey, I want to listen as the women describe their success stories, the how and why they gained their independence.
My thing is always saying that actually I've never felt, so I set up a business.
As a little girl, then as a young woman, I have suffered my lot of discrimination.
And I've always felt that actually being successful in that success has been caused by me being quite kind of truthful about who I am.
I was brought up with brothers. I grew up in a boys' world, and I had to not fight for survival. That was okay, but you have to elbow your way in.
Like I'm not an angry person. I'm not going to go into a room and shout. But I have been successful in being able to get things done a certain way, in my way, and that's been through very, I would say, feminine tactics.
And when you come with that sentiment of having been in a minority for a long period of time, then you are much more attentive to minorities.
So again, they don't have to be right or wrong. So if someone said to me, Sophie, the only way that you're ever going to be able to succeed in business, which is a man's world, is to be aggressive, dominant, dogmatic, and all the rest of it. And it's like, I wouldn't be able to have done that. It's not in my nature.
I think I listen more. I'm more attentive to those in the back of the room that sit in the dark and don't want to talk and yet have a lot to contribute.
So also I get confused because I'm like, but actually you can be highly successful in a female role by playing to your strengths, which are being quite delicate and female, but still sharp.
So, typically people will say women are more inclusive, they're better team players. I think it's partly because of our history, of our heritage, of what we have ourselves had to face. And as a result, we're just more attentive to those differences.
Prejudice around equality push women towards developing strategies and talent.
The person is more important than the gender roles they identify with. Like conceptual art, the original idea is more important than the artwork itself.
And then you have to throw in the whole debate about gender, and now it's like everyone's allowed to be kind of gender fluid and questioning their gender. And so I get all kinds of confused about the whole, it's confusing. It's a big topic, huge topic. And at the risk of being slightly controversial, there is a tacit understanding that men and women have strengths.
Furcht vor dem Leben by Albert Schweitzer. Translates to reverence for life.
Because, there are some certain skills I think women are having, and the whole conversation now is slightly, everyone's a bit lost about what is appropriate behaviour and what is not appropriate behaviour on both sides.
When you choose a virtue, you push society forward with momentum. Virtue is excellence, something uncommonly great and beautiful, which rises far above what is vulgar and ordinary. By Adam Smith.
So having a spiritual life actually means actively and ritually creating the space in your life all the time for gratitude, for kindness, for empathy, for inspiration, for joy, and for reverence for life in the home of your soul first.
She leads people by example with amazing achievements, giving women hope and something to celebrate. Oprah Winfrey has always been a leader, particularly a role model for women to follow. And in 2018, Oprah would become the 15th woman to receive the Cecil B. DeMille Award at the Golden Globes. The first woman to receive the award was Judy Garland in 1962.
We need to first and foremost honor the sacred time of saving ourselves, because that is where our greatest power lies. That's what Dorothy was trying to figure out, running up and down that yellow brick road all that time.
A caterpillar instinctually becomes a beautiful butterfly. But how does a woman know what she needs to know?
In this song, Women's Intuition, Barbara Kenny sings about the voice women hear. It's above their physical or mental existence, the highest part of their being, the spirit of a woman.
You
Go along in your quiet way, act more strange every day. In this position, a woman's intuition will tell her all there is to know.
I think women are quite complex, emotional. Maybe we all are, but you know, you can feel as a woman some days highly kind of emotionally kind of made up, and I think it's yeah, I think the more, I certainly had phases in my life where I wasn't feeling great about myself. You know, life, you know, knocks you around a little bit, right? And I know looking back, I've been able to see it. You know, couldn't see it at the time, but now I'm looking back and I'm like, yeah, I look sad. Yeah, I look sad, rightly so, but I do not look happy. And I think a woman, you know, there's so much that goes into life sometimes. So I probably not just that kind of cut and dry businesswoman success story is probably a little bit into me. I'm really interested in the kind of complex women who have real kind of depth to it and the story to what they've done, because that's inspiring to me. You know, as you go through life, you're like, wow, all of these experiences that are happening for me, good and bad, that's amazing. That's gonna help me get to be one of these amazing women, you know, that just kind of has this complete charisma, you know, and that's it built up there, and they're like cool women, you know, and they're strong, but they're not kind of like defiantly strong. They're just strong when they need to be. And they're wise, and I really hope that one day I can kind of be that kind of woman, but I understand that you have to kind of grow into it, and it's not going to come effortlessly.
Oprah relates her experience with people who have persisted through challenging odds. Hope gives us confidence in our ability to fly, so we can navigate the course of our gender journey.
I've interviewed and portrayed people who've withstood some of the ugliest things life can throw at you, but the one quality all of them seem to share is an ability to maintain hope for a brighter morning, even during our darkest nights.
I wouldn't be surprised if we do actually just see the kind of dumbing down of this whole male, female. I think everyone now is so scared of being kind of overly male or overly female. Wouldn't it be interesting, or maybe if we all just, this whole kind of gender becomes a bit of a blur, and actually it's not fashionable anymore to talk about kind of male or female, and we're all kind of quite comfortable talking about, you know, I have masculine qualities and I have feminine qualities, I identify as a woman. You know, all of this kind of language suddenly becoming quite normalized, because I think at the moment we're just like, it's just too polarizing, you know, being kind of male or female.
If gender is too polarizing to talk about, then focus on skills, abilities, and economics. If you stand out individually, you help the whole community.
In the end, here's the deal. You want to be so good at what you do that they can't ignore you.
I believe that now this is being transformed or translated officially, you know, by letting those women drive.
Nearing the end of our journey, I would like to say how fabulous it is to be a lady, and how pivotal is the role of women in the world today. I hope you ladies out there who might feel they are in a desert at times, searching for a bottle of life-giving water, are inspired by the people we've heard from in this film.
Some days you may need some chocolate, and other days you may need to wear black glasses, so you aren't too distracting.
I think personally for me, I just would like to say how much I actually love being female. I love all the topics we've talked about, you know, fashion, beauty, entrepreneurship, you know, intelligence, education, kind of mentoring other girls. I just love. And so I'm kind of, that's why I think I'm just always a bit dismayed when I'm like, guys and girls are meant to kind of pitted against each other. Because I've always just felt so grateful to be female. I've always felt that it was the kind of the better one, you know, to be girls. Because we can be guys when we want to be, but then we get to go back and kind of shop. So I just want to say that actually, you know, I just big advocate for women.
Always remember, ladies, women are part of the best. So go and be your best.
Hope that I'm highly tolerant and trying to be, you know, really understanding and supportive of any definition of what it is to be female, but no, go girls.
So I want all the girls watching here and now to know that a new day is on the horizon. And when that new day finally dawns, it will be because of a lot of magnificent women, many of whom are right here in this room tonight, and some pretty phenomenal men.
Beautiful.